सभी दर्शकों को नमस्कार। मैं संजुला हालदर, उप निदेशक प्रधान आयकर महानिदेशालय प्रशासन एवं करदाता सेवाएं के अधीनस्थ आयकर निदेशालय जनसंपर्क प्रकाशन एवं प्रचार मयूर भवन नई दिल्ली में कार्यरत हूँ। वेलकम टू अनदर सेशन फ्रॉम संवाद। संवाद श्रृंखला के भाग के रूप में आज हम आपके लिए कॉन्सेप्ट्स रिलेटेड टू इंटरनेशनल टैक्सेशन से संबंधित विषय पर चर्चा लाए हैं। In this session, viewers will delve into intriguing concepts such as the definition of a non-resident, the taxation of non-resident incomes, and other interesting concepts related to international taxation. आज हमारे साथ चर्चा के लिए श्री महेश शाह सर, प्रिंसिपल कमिश्नर ऑफ इनकम टैक्स, ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग 1, न्यू दिल्ली हैं। Sir is an officer of the Indian Revenue Service of the 1994 batch and possesses over 28 years of diverse experience in administrative, investigative, and adjudicatory roles within fiscal law, finance, accounts, and corporate affairs, holding academic credentials including an LLB, LLM from the University of Vienna and a Chartered Accountant qualification from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Sir has excelled in both academia and professional practice. Sir's career highlights active participation in international conferences, membership in expert committees addressing crucial tax matters, designing training courses for international tax authorities, and delivering lectures at esteemed institutions in professional forums. Additionally, Sir possesses a robust record of representing the government before judicial bodies and contributing scholarly works to esteemed publications. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation to this episode of Samvad on the topic Concepts Related to International Taxation.
सभी दर्शकों को नमस्कार। संवाद के इस एपिसोड में मुझे आमंत्रित करने के लिए धन्यवाद संजुला।
सर, एप्लीकेबल टैक्स ट्रीटी के तहत बेनिफिट्स का हकदार होने के लिए एक अनिवासी को कौन-कौन से दस्तावेजों की आवश्यकता है सर?
एप्लीकेबल टैक्स ट्रीटी के तहत बेनिफिट्स के लिए अनिवासी द्वारा उपलब्ध करवाए जाने वाले दस्तावेज में टैक्स रेसिडेंसी सर्टिफिकेट सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। इसको वहाँ का इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट इशू करता है बेस्ड ऑन द रेसिडेंसी ऑफ द पर्सन। उस टैक्स रेसिडेंसी सर्टिफिकेट के अलावा फॉर्म 10F हम लोगों ने मैंडेटरी किया है। If TRC does not contain the following information, namely status, whether he is an individual, company or firm, etc., PAN number or any income tax identification number, nationality, taxpayer's tax identification number or unique number, period of residential status, address, तो उसमें उसको फॉर्म 10F भी देना होता है। यदि टीआरसी में ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन यदि हैं उसमें तब उसको फॉर्म 10F की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है और उसको एक नो परमानेंट एस्टेब्लिशमेंट डिक्लेरेशन देना होता है, क्योंकि एज पर द टैक्स ट्रीटी प्रोविजंस यदि नॉन रेजिडेंट का यहाँ पे परमानेंट एस्टेब्लिशमेंट होता है तो उसकी इनकम यहाँ टैक्सेबल हो जाती है। इफ इज नॉट हैविंग एनी इनकम फ्रॉम बिजनेस तो वो एक नो परमानेंट एस्टेब्लिशमेंट डिक्लेरेशन भी उसको देना पड़ता है।
Thank you, sir. So you mentioned Form 10F. So please explain to our viewers if Form 10F is to be mandatorily filed online and whether PAN is also required for such filing.
The provisions relating to filing of Form 10F are governed by Rule 21AB of the Income Tax Rules. Any non-resident who is seeking double taxation benefits under the DTAA, it is mandatory to file Form 10F electronically, regardless of whether or not the taxpayer has a PAN. This form contains the details which are required to be filed by the NR online. However, there is one exception to this rule. If the other country which has issued the tax residency certificate mentioning all the details which are specified in Form 10F, then filing of 10F is not required. In that case, filing of TRC would be a sufficient compliance.
Thank you, sir. So will the taxability of a non-resident be determined on the basis of source or on the basis of residency?
एनआरआई भारत स्रोत की आय पर कर का भुगतान करने के लिए उत्तरदायी है। इसलिए आमतौर पर कहें तो भारत में एनआरआई की आय सोर्स रूल बेसिस के आधार पर कर योग्य है। हाउएवर, if by reason of his stay in India he becomes a tax resident in India, his global income would be taxable in India based on the residency rule. I may further clarify here that the tax credit for taxes paid abroad is always allowed by the resident state. इसमें बहुत सारा confusion हो जाता है, कई लोग इसको नहीं समझ करके और सोर्स स्टेट में भी एग्जम्पशन की बात करते हैं। टैक्स क्रेडिट इज ऑलवेज गिवन बाय द रेसिडेंट स्टेट। एक एग्जाम्पल करके मैं इसको क्लेरिफाई करना चाह रहा हूँ। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ अ सिंगापुर रेसिडेंट earns income in India from interest, the interest income is taxable in India due to the source of earning such income being in India, which is interest. In this scenario, India would deduct tax on such interest income as per the provisions of the Act or DTA, whichever is more favorable or beneficial to the taxpayer. However, in such case, the credit for taxes paid in India can only be claimed in Singapore as such person is a tax resident of Singapore. So, if this income is getting doubly taxed in Singapore, Singapore authorities would allow the credit for taxes paid in India. If in the same example, the person concerned earns income from interest in Singapore and is a tax resident of India, Singapore tax authorities would charge tax on interest income on the source rule basis, whereas the Indian tax authorities would charge the same interest income on tax on the basis of residency rule. Since the interest income in this example is getting taxed twice, one in Singapore on source basis and the other in India on residency basis, such person is entitled to claim tax credit for taxes paid in Singapore and India, being a tax resident of India, and Indian government would allow the same.
Thank you, sir. So, what is the concept of withholding tax for a non resident? And what is the methodology for this? And what is the tax treatment for the same?
Withholding tax, as we call it, or TDS, is an obligation on the person, either resident or non-resident, to withhold the tax whenever a payment of a specified nature is made at the rates, then to the non-resident, the tax is required to be deducted at the rates specified in the Income Tax Act. Whenever a payment is made to a non-resident, either by a resident or by a non-resident, appropriate TDS under Section 195 of the Act is required to be deducted at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. The tax is deducted at the rate prescribed under the Act or relevant double taxation avoidance agreement, whichever is more beneficial to the taxpayer. एनआरआई द्वारा व्यावसायिक आय को छोड़कर सभी मामलों में अपना रिटर्न आईटीआर 2 में दाखिल करना अनिवार्य है। एनआरआई द्वारा व्यावसायिक आय प्राप्ति के मामले में आईटीआर 3 में आय का रिटर्न दाखिल करना होगा। द क्रेडिट ऑफ द टैक्सेस withheld shall be available to be set off against the gross tax liability computed in the return of income, and balance available, if any, shall be refunded to the taxpayer.
Thank you so much, sir. So, could you please enlighten our viewers what is the procedure for obtaining a lower deduction certificate?
Yes, Anjula, an individual or an entity may be eligible for either nil tax or the deduction of lower deduction tax, provided the assessing officer is of the view, on the basis of the facts and circumstances of the case and the prevailing law, that the total income of the person receiving the payment, NRI in this case, requires a tax deduction at lower rates or nil rate, as the case may be. Then he is authorized by the provisions of the Act to allow the payer or the recipient to receive the income either with lower or nil deduction at source. The procedure for obtaining a lower deduction of TDS certificate requires applicants to file Form 13 electronically through the Traces website, along with necessary supporting documents which the taxpayer feels would allow the assessing officer to decide, as per the provisions of the Act, the taxability of the receipt. After submission, the taxpayer is in a position to track the progress of his application through the Traces website on real-time basis. So if he logs in into his account on Traces website, he would be in a position to know the progress of his application of withholding at lower or nil tax on a real-time basis. This is a facility being allowed by the Income Tax Department.
Thank you so much, sir. So, if a transaction is not taxable under the applicable tax treaty, can a non resident apply for a nil withholding certificate under Section 197 of the Act?
Where transaction is not taxable or no tax is required to be withheld in India, either under the treaty or under the Income Tax Act, or both, non-resident can definitely apply under Section 195 for nil withholding under Section 197. I would also like to clarify here that the recipient of the income, that is a non-resident, can apply under 197 for lower deduction or nil deduction, whereas the payer, the resident in India or a non-resident who is paying to a non-resident, can also apply for nil withholding or lower withholding depending on the facts of the case under Section 195 of the Act.
थैंक यू सर। सर, क्या अधिनियम के प्रावधानों के अनुसार एनआरओ और एनआरआई से अर्जित ब्याज की कर देयता अलग-अलग है?
डेफिनेटली संजुला, एनआरओ खाते में अर्जित ब्याज दर में टैक्सेबिलिटी है, क्योंकि ये जो एनआरओ अकाउंट होता है ये इंडियन रुपीज में मेंटेन होता है, वेयरएज इन एनआरई अकाउंट वो फॉरेन करेंसी अकाउंट में मेंटेन होता है, एक्सटर्नल करेंसी में, और उसका ब्याज एग्जेम्प्टेड होता है। इसके पीछे जो रीजन है वो ये है कि एनआरई अकाउंट में पैसा हमेशा बाहर से ही आता है, whereas in case of NRO account it can also come in India or outside India. So NRO account generally speaking would be taxable, but NRE is exempt in India.
धन्यवाद सर। So, what is the procedure for assessment of a non-resident by the income tax authorities?
A non-resident assessee may be assessed directly or through an agent. A person who can be appointed an agent of NR is governed by the provisions of Section 163 of the Act. An illustrative list of persons who can be considered as an agent of NR are as under: individuals who are employees or trustees of non-resident Indians, any individual who has any business connection with a non-resident, any person receiving income from a non-resident, or purchasing capital asset in India from a non-resident. जहाँ एनआर का सीधे मूल्यांकन किया जाता है वह स्वयं व्यक्तिगत रूप से या इस संबंध में विधिवत अधिकृत प्रतिनिधि के माध्यम से कार्यवाही में भाग ले सकता है। तो यदि वो नहीं भाग लेता है तो इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट को ये पावर है कि वो जिस सोर्स से उसको इनकम आ रही है एज पर सेक्शन 163 ऑफ द एक्ट, द असेसिंग ऑफिसर कैन make him an agent of the non-resident and he can assess for the same income which is taxable in the hands of the non-resident otherwise.
Thank you, sir. So, can you please explain to our viewers that if there is a refund that is due to the non-residents, can it be credited to their overseas bank account?
In case of refund, NRI should mention the bank account held by them in India for a smooth credit of refund amount, as all the refunds by the revenue are transferred online. He is required to maintain a bank account in India.
Thank you, sir. सर, रिटर्न न दाखिल करने पर क्या पेनल्टी होगी और क्या इस अपराध पर मुकदमा भी चलाया जा सकता है? सर, कृपया हमारे दर्शकों को बताएं।
यदि किसी एनआर के अधिनियम की धारा 139(1) के प्रावधान के अनुसार आयकर रिटर्न दाखिल करना है और वो ऐसा करने में विफल रहता है तो आयकर रिटर्न दाखिल न करने पर कोई पेनल्टी नहीं है। हालांकि आयकर अधिनियम 1961 की धारा 139(1) के तहत निर्धारित नियत तारीख के बाद रिटर्न दाखिल किया जाता है तो अधिनियम की धारा 234(f) के तहत 5,000 रुपया लेट फीस का भुगतान करना आवश्यक होता है। तो ये लेट फीस एक 5,000 रुपया उसके ऊपर लगेगा। यदि ऐसे व्यक्ति की कुल आय 5 लाख रुपए से अधिक नहीं है तो लेट फीस के रूप में 1,000 रुपए का भुगतान करना होगा। हालांकि ऐसे व्यक्ति पर अधिनियम की धारा 276 सीसी के तहत मुकदमा भी चलाया जा सकता है।
Thank you, sir. Sir, our viewers would really like to know if there is a mechanism through which immunity can be provided to the non-resident from penalty or prosecution.
Section 270AA has been introduced with effect from 1/4/2017, which provides immunity from imposition of penalty under Section 270 capital A and initiation of proceedings under Section 276C and 276CC if the assessee fulfills the conditions mentioned in Section 270AA.
Thank you, sir. So, lastly, I would like to ask you that if there are any advantages in terms of appellate remedy which are available to a non-resident versus a resident.
In case of an NR, there is an alternative dispute resolution mechanism in the form of dispute resolution panel, which is popularly known as DRP. DRP is consisting of 3 senior commissioners. The order of the DRP is not appealable by the revenue and becomes final as far as the revenue is concerned. This is an alternative mechanism available to NRs along with an option to file appeal with the CIT appeal. So here the non-residents can also file appeal with either CIT appeal or DRP. So there is an alternative dispute resolution mechanism provided which is only available to the non-residents. The DRP is required to pass the order within a fixed time frame mandatorily for fast and speedy disposal of appeal. So therefore, once they have to pass mandatorily in the given time frame, the disputes can be resolved at a very fast pace.
Thank you so much, sir, for patiently explaining the concepts related to international taxation to all our viewers, sir.
Thank you, Sanjula, for providing me this opportunity of being here today amongst you all and explaining the concepts and taxation related issues of non-residents. Thank you so much.
हमें उम्मीद है कि इस सेशन से आपको आवश्यक जानकारी मिली होगी. We hope this session gave you the necessary insights into concepts related to international taxation, like the procedure of assessment of a non-resident by the income tax authorities, the procedure for obtaining lower deduction certificate, and so much more. संवाद के इस एपिसोड के लिए और हमसे जुड़ने के लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Do follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, and keep watching for updates on more educational and informative content. Until the next time from Samvad, thank you and Jai Hind.